What is cracking, guys? We have a Spyderco PM2 to try to briefly talk about today because I've done other PM2s on the channel, and this one comes to us from Alex over the Watch and Cut channel. As like every PM2 that Alex owns, none of them are stock. None of them are original. This one is no different. It actually might be kind of fun to get him one. I may actually, don't tell him. I might just buy him a stock one and tell him he can't modify it at all. Just leave it so that he has a bone stock one to compare in his videos. So this one is an exclusive though. This is a Watch and Cut channel / Cutlery Shoppe exclusive. This came originally with orange handles. This also comes with a Warncliffe blade in CTS XHP blade steel. That blade steel, the Warncliffe shape blade, are exclusive to the Cutlery Shoppe. It's the only ones that Spyderco makes that particular knife for in that particular steel, which in and of itself is a pretty cool deal. All right, so I'm not going to go into all of the specs and details because is a PM2, it's a PM2, is a PM2, right? This just happens to have a Warncliffe blade. For those of you that aren't really familiar, it's 4 3/4 with 8 1/4 inches overall and about a 3.5 inch blade, right? Weighs in at about 3.8 ounces. In its current configuration, it might be a little different with its stock configuration. So what Alex has done is he has added fat carbon toxic storm scales, which I love. I love, love, love these scales. The green hardware comes from XXX Adrenaline XXX on Instagram, all titanium, all anodized. Even the lanyard tube is a titanium anodized green, which matches with this toxic storm carbon fiber. Awesome. Let me get to the pocket clip. Also anodized titanium hardware. This is a Timascus clip from RGT. And I'll try to get links to those companies down below, maybe. The PM2 is something that I would like to own, but I don't own, and I don't think I will own. But I kind of feel as though I should. Spyderco is near and dear to me. It's really how I started out my knife collecting way back in the late 80s with a police model that I've talked about many times. My very first video I ever did on this channel 3+ years ago was the Spyderco PM2. I mean, the Spyderco police model. And that video is still up. I know a lot of people have taken down their early videos because the quality is, let's just say, different than what you're seeing and hearing today. It was in a different room in my house. I still live in the same house, but I did it on the kitchen table back then with a totally different background or backdrop. Yeah, please go check it out though, because, you know, I just leave it. It's part of my YouTube history and journey. And so I'm going to leave it because just because. So Spyderco's near and dear to me. I have had a lot of Spydercos throughout my life. I've carried Spyderco exclusively for probably 10 years back in the 90s. Before I really got into collecting, it was always a Spyderco. A lot of times it was the police model or the Endura. Those were my two go-to carries. The fully serrated police model was my first, and then I went into partially serrated Enduras. And that really worked well for me. I was in the construction trades at the time, so the partially serrated blade worked well. The Warncliffe blade never really excited me, but it is super utilitarian. It is probably more utilitarian than any of the other Spyderco blade shapes. And I don't have another Spyderco here with me, but here is a ZT that I do have on the table. While it is useful, the point is if you really need to do detailing cutting, you're really getting in extreme angles to get the tip in, right? With this, well, the tip is just right there and you're not at an extreme angle and it works really well. So there's something to be said for a really nice Warncliffe blade. The PM2, my problem, as I've mentioned before, is the compression lock on the deployment. I feel the compression lock. Let's see if we can do this here. If I zoom in, you can see the compression lock right here. I open the knife. The compression lock is going to slide to the right, and it's going to kind of smash up against my finger. And that feeling to me is not uncomfortable. It doesn't hurt. It's just awkward to me. And I feel like I pinched my finger somehow maybe in the mechanism. And so it's just an awkward, uncomfortable feeling to me. And that's why I don't have a PM2. Even though I feel like I should have one and I should mod it and do a video or two on that process and then just have it sitting off to the side like a ton of my knives. Which blade shape would I get? I would probably go with the Tonto blade because I am super into Tontos. And maybe that'll happen. I don't know. Comment down below if you want to see me build a PM2 with Alex and some scales. There's a bunch of different scales. These ones are just flat slabs. There are some contoured and what scales. He has a really cool PM2 with the Tonto blade with some purple like 3D milled type of scales, which I really like. And so I might do something in that line. But there you go, guys. There's not a lot to talk about here. We'll go with the couple of sizes just so you can see. Here's the Spyderco Delica, which gets a lot of use. This is a great box cutting knife and box opening knife. Here it is next to a Sharpie. How about the Kubi KB237, my super awesome budget knife? One of my favorite budget knives. The ZT or the VC Edge interface. And since I pulled it out earlier, the small ZT 0450CF. I don't know, please go check out my Spyderco playlist up here and Alex's channel over there. Have yourselves a fantastic day, everyone. Thank you.